Forgiveness transforms our hearts and spirits in the most unexpected ways. When we seek true forgiveness, we find a pathway to healing and peace. As the sun rises, a gentle serenity fills the air, inviting us into a sacred space. In this moment of prayer, we uncover the release that comes from embracing forgiveness. Forgiveness transforms our hearts and spirits in the most unexpected ways. When we seek true forgiveness, we find a pathway to healing and peace. As the sun rises, a gentle serenity fills the air, inviting us into a sacred space. In this moment of prayer, we uncover the release that comes from embracing forgiveness. As we turn our hearts toward God, let us listen for His word, which speaks of His endless mercy. With you there is true forgiveness. Ps 134. Take a moment to let these words settle in your heart. As we turn our hearts toward God, let us listen for His word, which speaks of His endless mercy. With you there is true forgiveness. Take a moment to let these words settle in your heart. This passage comes from a psalm that expresses deep longing for mercy and divine forgiveness in a time of distress. The speaker, likely a worshiper or poet, pleads for God's compassion, recognizing the weight of sin and the necessity of forgiveness for spiritual restoration. As we contemplate these profound themes, let us turn our hearts towards reflection on the gift we receive. In this heartfelt psalm, the voice of the speaker emerges from a place of struggle, yearning for God's mercy amidst a backdrop of personal and communal shortcomings. The audience, often believers facing the burdens of guilt and remorse, find hope as the psalm reveals the depth of God's grace. This sacred text invites us into a deeper understanding of how forgiveness is not just an act of pardon, but a transformative gift that renews the soul. As we settle into this moment, may we open our hearts to the prayerful reflection on the unmerited grace offered to us. In the quiet moments of our day, we often find ourselves weighed down by burdens and regrets. We carry memories of past hurts, both given and received, that can cloud our hearts and hinder our peace. Today, we turn our hearts toward the profound reality that forgiveness is an incredible gift that revives our spirits. Recognizing our need for forgiveness, whether from God or others, allows us to experience the renewal that brings healing in our lives, reminding us of the hope we can embrace today. As we rise to greet this new day, we reflect on the freedom found in forgiveness, a powerful gift that invites us into the renewal of our hearts. In moments where we may feel overwhelmed by guilt or the weight of unresolved conflict, it is essential to remember that forgiveness is not just a fleeting notion, but a divine blessing that restores our spirits and cleanses our souls. Today, let us open ourselves to the truth that embracing forgiveness can lighten our burdens and bring about transformation, an invitation we can all respond to with hope and grace. As we continue to ponder the profound nature of forgiveness, we find that it reveals a dimension of God's character we deeply desire to understand. In this sacred space of forgiveness, we discover that it is not merely an act, but a divine gift that flows from the heart of God, illustrating His unwavering commitment to restoration and hope for every soul. This truth exemplifies God's nature as a compassionate Redeemer, who longs to cleanse and revitalize all who turn to Him, embodying endless mercy and love. In the quiet of our hearts, we recognize that true forgiveness emanates from God, echoing His desire for us to experience wholeness and peace. In his embrace, we find the gentle assurance that every transgression can be washed away, and our spirits can soar anew in the light of his grace. In light of the serene release found in God's merciful renewal, we can begin to see how this truth intertwines with our daily experiences. As we recognize the weight of burdens lifted, we may notice a softening in our attitudes, prompting us to hold ourselves and others with kindness and understanding. This gentle revelation invites us to open our hearts to the possibilities of grace surrounding us, allowing the peace of forgiveness to settle deeply within. As we carry the renewing gift of forgiveness into our lives, we may begin to feel the tension of grudges fade, inviting a heart postured towards gentle acceptance. We may find ourselves responding to the world with more compassion, seeing each encounter as a chance to extend the grace we've so freely received. With every moment of reflection, we might sense an increasing openness to the liberation found in forgiving ourselves and others, nourishing a quiet joy that comes from living within the embrace of mercy. We feel the gentle stirrings of God's forgiveness touching our heart, inviting us to go deeper into our own emotions. In this tender space, we may encounter feelings of weariness, the burden of past choices, and the quiet longing for renewal. Yet, in the midst of our reflections, we can sense God's steady presence enveloping us with compassion, meeting us right where we are. As we immerse ourselves in this moment, we acknowledge how God's truth softly brushes against our heart, reminding us that it is safe to feel the weight of our emotions. We may find ourselves holding onto weariness, unvoiced longings, or the gentle ache of our spirit, but here, we are met with divine compassion that invites us to settle. Nothing is required of us in this space of grace. Instead, we feel a soothing reassurance wrapping around our hearts, allowing us to be still and receive God's embrace. This moment reflects the embrace of forgiveness that invites us to trust in God's renewing spirit. In knowing that He is always present with compassion, we can feel assured that our hearts are met with grace. As we carry this gentle truth forward, our spirits feel uplifted, poised to delve deeper into the simplicity of His love. As we allow the warmth of this forgiveness to settle within us, we are reminded of the unwavering presence of a loving God, whose grace continually breathes new life into our weary souls. We sense a quiet strength growing in our hearts, encouraging us to lean into this moment of renewal, holding on with gentle hope as we prepare to express our hearts in prayer. We often find ourselves tangled in moments where we long for healing and release, sensing the weight of past choices or unresolved conflicts. Maybe you've experienced a quiet morning where something from yesterday lingers in your heart, a small regret or an unspoken hurt that colors your thoughts. In this gentle stillness, we can pause to recognize how we truly desire the renewal that forgiveness offers, both for ourselves and those we hold close. As we sit in the soft light of this morning, it's easy to feel the echoes of yesterday's burdens, perhaps a fleeting moment of regret or an unresolved conversation. In those quiet hours, we might find our hearts longing for the beauty of forgiveness, yearning for that moment when we can release the past and step into renewal. There, in our stillness, we come to understand how each breath invites us toward openness and healing, reminding us of the gentle grace that awaits in the knowledge of true forgiveness. I've often found myself feeling a weight lift unexpectedly after extending forgiveness to someone, or receiving it in return. There's a gentle relief that washes over us, reminding us of our shared struggles in navigating these moments of grace. In those quiet exchanges, it feels as though God's presence wraps around us, affirming that true freedom comes through forgiveness. In my own life, I've noticed how, even on the heaviest days, a simple moment of forgiveness can spark a profound change within me. We carry so much as we move through life, each encounter a brush with both vulnerability and strength. Yet, in those tender moments when we let go, it's as if God gently whispers to our hearts, assuring us that we're not alone in this journey. His grace meets us there, reminding us we are held, understood, and invited into renewal. In this shared space, we began to sense a gentle shift within ourselves, a realization that forgiveness is not merely a distant concept, but a close companion in our lives. We found a new understanding that the act of letting go not only frees others, but also brings peace to our own hearts, inviting us to embrace the warmth of grace. In this moment of clarity, we felt a profound nearness, as if God wrapped us in his presence, inviting us deeper into this journey. It became clear that in our willingness to forgive, we discover fragments of love and mercy that touch our souls. The act of forgiveness brings a deeper sense of peace, transforming both our hearts and our relationships. God's presence was felt as we recognized how forgiveness opens a pathway to renewal and connection. As we sit with this quiet understanding of forgiveness, we've discovered that within its embrace lies a profound peace that reshapes our hearts, reflecting God's love for us. Let us silently acknowledge how he meets us there, in our moments of surrender, ready to receive the grace that refreshes our spirits. Reflects how the listener may also feel the weight of past burdens, and the desire for lightness through forgiveness invites the viewer to connect with their own journey of seeking release and renewal in their hearts, cultivates a gentle recognition that God walks alongside both speaker and listener in this shared quest for forgiveness. As we take a moment to embrace this sense of renewal, we may feel an echo in our own hearts, a whisper of an urge to be freed from what we carry. In these quiet moments, we find ourselves wrapped in the shared embrace of our humanity, no longer alone in our longings or struggles. Together, we breathe in the invitation of God's presence, knowing that forgiveness is not just a gift, but a journey we travel alongside one another. And as we gather our thoughts and our spirits, we prepare to come close in prayer. The gift of forgiveness brings renewal to our hearts and lives. In God's presence, we are met with unending mercy and love, reminding us that we are never beyond the reach of his grace. This truth settles within us, providing a gentle yet firm foundation that reassures us of our worthiness to receive grace. As we hold this truth in our hearts, we are reminded that the gift of forgiveness renews us deeply, allowing us to encounter God's endless mercy and love at every moment. In this reality, we discover an inward strength that quiets our fears and nourishes our faith, enfolding us in the comfort of knowing we are always accepted and embraced by grace. As we embrace the truth of forgiveness, our hearts find a gentle opening toward trust and renewal. A quiet readiness settles in us, allowing space to lean gently into God's forgiving embrace. There's a tender invitation for our hearts to rest in the assurance of his mercy, without pressure in this moment. As we reflect on the profound gift of forgiveness, we feel a calm assurance washing over us, inviting our hearts to open and lean into the warmth of God's enduring mercy. It's a safe space, one where we can quietly entrust our burdens, our struggles, and even our joys into His capable hands, knowing He meets us in our vulnerabilities. As we settle into this posture of trust, we find ourselves drawn into deeper connection, ready to pour out our hearts in prayerful communion. A quiet assurance rests upon our hearts, reminding us that forgiveness flows endlessly from God's love, enveloping us in grace that renews our very being. In every moment that unfolds today, we are reminded of God's unwavering presence, the gentle hand guiding us toward peace and healing. As we embrace this day, we are covered by His kindness, accompanied by His faithful Spirit, celebrating the opportunity to walk in the light of His forgiveness. As we bring our hearts before God, may the hope of renewal settle softly upon us, reminding us of His eternal care and the gentle forgiveness that transforms our lives. We move forward, held in the assurance of His nearness, ready to speak openly and honestly with our loving Father. A gentle stillness envelops us as we transition from reflection into prayer, allowing the comforting message of forgiveness to wrap around our hearts and minds. In this shared moment, we gather our thoughts and still our spirits, united in our desire to draw closer to Him. With hearts open and expectant, we settle into this sacred space, ready to listen and connect in the quiet communion of prayer. As we take a deep breath together, let us feel the warmth of forgiveness inviting us closer, allowing its renewal to fill us. In this tranquil moment, we rest before our Creator, united in spirit, ready to embrace the deep connection through prayer that is about to unfold. We express heartfelt thanks for God's unwavering mercy and the gift of forgiveness. We honor God as the source of grace, celebrating His constancy and love. A sacred atmosphere envelops us, inviting quiet reflection and deep reverence. In this stillness, we pause to acknowledge Your nearness. Lord, our hearts overflowing with gratitude for who You are. We thank You for being our refuge, our source of grace, and the one who forgives our deepest failings. Your faithful love surrounds us, reminding us of Your goodness, and we are in awe of Your constancy and mercy. We worship You for Your everlasting kindness that holds us steady through each moment, drawing us closer to Your heart. As we relish in this divine intimacy, we remain attuned to Your presence, prepared to enter deeper reflections in our prayer. The prayer invites a deep inward reflection on how forgiveness transforms our daily lives and hearts, leading to renewal. The blessing exudes a sense of peace and gentle affirmation, inviting us to rest in the assurance of God's faithful presence. We find our hearts aligning with God's Spirit, embracing His guidance and the transformative power of forgiveness. As we come into this sacred space, we welcome Your gentle presence, trusting that You meet us with forgiveness and renewal. We invite Your work within our hearts, shaping our thoughts and guiding our steps throughout this day. May we find inner peace amid the noise and clarity in our decisions, preparing us to face each moment with grace. We rest in the assurance of Your constant love and faithful covering, knowing that in every silent moment, You invite us to dwell in Your peace. While our prayers may draw to a close, our hearts remain open to the transformations You bring as we continue in this rhythm of renewal. In this sacred moment of prayer, we acknowledge the deep trust we place in God, knowing that His forgiveness brings us renewal. We can reflect on how His presence envelops us in peace, allowing our hearts to rest in the assurance that we are held and cared for. As we come to the close of this time together, let us feel the wholeness that comes from knowing we are renewed in His grace, settling into a calm confidence that wraps around us like a gentle embrace. Our hearts find quiet courage in God's unending love, reassuring us of His steadfast presence. As we conclude, we carry this peace within us, a tranquil reminder of His faithfulness as we prepare to say our final Amen. As we draw this prayer to a close, we take a deep breath and find ourselves resting in the beautiful truth of God's forgiveness. With hearts full of gratitude, we trust that His renewing grace sustains us, guiding us into a day filled with hope and possibility. Together, we embrace this moment, knowing we are renewed and held safely in His love. Amen. As we carry this sentiment forward, consider how the theme of renewal through forgiveness can be a source of encouragement throughout our day. You're warmly welcomed to visit again whenever you seek companionship and reflection as we explore these moments together. With gratitude for our shared time, we gently close this moment, feeling peaceful and connected. Having shared this time together, let us take a moment to reflect on the gift of forgiveness that brings renewal, inviting warmth into our day. Feel free to connect with us again for more moments of quiet reflection or simply to pause and embrace the day ahead at your own pace. The need for renewal through forgiveness collective struggles with guilt, shame, and the desire for healing a humble reliance on God's ability to heal and renew our hearts we come before you, Lord, fully aware of our reliance on your mercy, seeking the gift of renewal that comes through forgiveness. We ask for healing from the burdens of guilt that weigh heavily on our hearts, and for the release from shame that can hold us captive. Together, we bring our daily struggles, our fears, and the unseen burdens we carry, trusting that you understand our needs and respond with compassion. May your grace wash over us, ushering in fresh hope and a spirit renewed in your love. We rest in the assurance of your care, knowing that mercy flows abundantly, and we keep our hearts open to your transformative presence in this time of prayer.